Okay, so here we go. I guess we'll discuss the GSSR. I did have a GSSR video that I posted like back in the beginning of the month, but that was more of a video for me, to be honest. So I feel like with the amount of new players that I've been seeing in my chat recently, going over the GSSR in a more constructive detail would probably be better. So for those of you who are not familiar with the most of us refer to it as the GSSR, which stands for Guaranteed Super Rare. In other words, guaranteed 5-star summon. What's nice about this specific GSSR is that this is class specific. So there will be 9 different banners you could choose from. You can choose one banner. You can only choose one though. One of 9 class specific summons. So you'd have to choose which one you would want to summon. It requires 15 paid Saint Quartz, so you cannot use free Saint Quartz. This has to be paid Saint Quartz. And you get one limited 5-star servant guaranteed. So we have each of the banners, so Saber, Archer, Lancer, Rider, Caster, Assassin, Berserker. The extra classes are split into 2 different banners, so that you have the Ruler Avenger extra class banner, and then you have the Alter Ego Moon Cancer Foreigner extra banner. I guess let's go through each of the servants. So you have the Saber class. So you have Sigurd, Okita, Shiki, Arthur, Astolfo, Musashi, Nero Bride, and Benny Enma. First thing that pops to mind right away when I see this banner. So there are 8 servants in the Saber class banner. They're all limited, and 6 of them are single target. So if you're looking for a single target servant, I guess the Saber class would be a really good banner for you. And you have, a diverse roster. If you want DPS, you could go with Musashi, you could go with Okita. If you want sort of support, you can go Benny Enma and Nero Bride. If you want AoE, you could go Arthur or Void Shiki. So this banner is a bit of a mashup, but mostly are single target NP servants. Now for the Archer class, you have a lot of heavy hitters in this banner. You have Ishtar, Moriarty, Gilgamesh, Artoria, Jeanne d'Arc, and Orion. If you don't have any of these servants, like already right away, you could get Orion, who is a really good unit for challenge quests or basically just hard-hitting raw power. Ishtar and Gilgamesh are good for farming. Ishtar more so because she has a 50% charge, while Gilgamesh does have a 30% charge. And then you have Artoria and Jeanne d'Arc, who are, arts. So once Castor Artoria releases later in the year, you can arts loop with Jeanne. Artoria basically reaches 100% just from her NP. She doesn't need face cards. And then Moriarty, I guess, would be sort of the weakest of the batch, kind of. Now, as for the Lancer class, this is the banner with the least number of limited servants. You only have 4. But, this is if you're looking for one specific servant, this is your best banner, pretty much, because you have a 25% chance of getting the servant you want. Now, of course, this is RNG. So whether you get the servant you want or not might not be so bad, because they're all fairly solid units. Tamamo may be on the, a lot of people do say that Tamamo needs a buff, but regardless, Tamamo is still a very solid unit. She just pales in comparison to her counterparts, but she is still a good unit, I feel. And then Ereshkigal is the only AoE Lancer here. All the rest are single target Noble Phantasm servants. So yeah, if you don't have any of them, this is probably the best banner if you're looking for a specific servant, because this is the best chance. You have a 1 in 4 chance of getting that servant. and they're all good servants. So, and if you're looking for a waifu, all waifus, no husbandos here on this banner. Now, as for the Rider banner, you have a fairly interesting lineup. Another thing I would also like to say about the Lancer banner, 3 of them will actually be on rate up later in the year. So that's another thing to consider. Now, for the Rider banner, they're all solid units. Ivan has a 50% charge, I believe. Iskander is a really good hard-hitting buster unit. Reigns and Da Vinci, though, they have reruns later in the year. And then also has a rerun and also gets a buff during that rerun. So right now, Reigns can charge 40%, but she becomes a 50% charger with that buff later in the year. I mean, this is an okay banner. Fairly average. You have a support unit with Rhinus. You have Iskander, which a buster DPS. You have a single target DPS with Maid Alter. And then you have Da Vinci, who is an excellent arts looping unit. And then Ivan, who is a fairly decent unit as well. It's just that a lot of people don't like him because of the way he looks, but he is a solid unit. So yeah, I mean, this is a fairly average banner. Reigns and Da Vinci do get a rerun later in the year. So there's that. Now we arrive at probably the best banner for new players. As much as possible, you want to try to get support casters. So namely, Scotty and Merlin. You want to try to get them if you don't have them yet. I believe Scotty will have a rate up in 2 years. In summer rerun, there is a banner for Merlin. So there is still a chance to get Merlin. But then again, you also have very solid units. Neurocaster is a really, really good AoE damage dealer, buster. Shikibu, she is a solid arts unit. Ilya is single target buster. She does get a NP charge upgrade later on. So they're all fairly solid. And of course, Da Vinci is... I don't believe she gets any buffs. Or she has gotten any buff recently. Still a solid caster for sure. But the highlight really of the caster banner would be the support casters. For newer players, the caster banner would probably be the go-to recommendation, because trying to get support servants is really important. Although I guess you could say that if you're gonna wait for caster Artoria, you could wait for caster Artoria. But, you know, having more supports is always good. You never know when you'll need additional supports for that extra charge, especially for, let's say, Scotty with her 50% charge, or if you have, you know, quick servants. There's that. Merlin would be, I guess, more for challenge content, so he is a very solid option as well. But regardless, either way you look at it, whether you're gonna roll for caster Artoria or not, the caster banner is always a good banner to roll on in GSSR. Now, as for the assassin banner, really the highlight of the assassin banner would be Hassan and Kama. More so Kama, because of her, you know, current niche where she currently is the only servant that deals effective damage against alter ego. But she has a rerun there during the Oku rerun. So you could maybe pick another banner if you're trying to target Kama. But the thing is, the Kama banner is right before anniversary. But the thing is, we don't know if they're gonna move the anniversary early. So the Kama rerun might be before anniversary banner, because, you know, caster Artoria. What everybody is looking forward to next year is caster Artoria. The problem is we don't know when that will be dropping. So if that's gonna be dropping earlier, Oku rerun might be after anniversary. If not, it'll be before anniversary. So that's a risk you might have to take if you're going to roll for Kama. So yeah, that's another thing. As for the other units, Semiramis, unfortunately, I feel like she needs a buff, I feel. MHX is a really solid unit. She does a lot of damage. They've given her so many buffs. Asana's a solid unit, but yeah, to have his buff relies on him to like basically proc his guts for the extra damage. So that can be a bit difficult sometimes. As for the the banner, I feel is solid. But yeah, if you're going to be rolling specifically for, let's say, if you're an Artoria fan or Saber Face fan, if you're rolling for MHX, she will have another rate up. If you're going to be rolling for Kama, she has another rate up. So yeah, a lot of the servants here have reruns this year for the Assassin class banner. So it's either you wait for those banners or you roll in this GSSR. That way you don't have to worry about it in the year, I guess. But yeah, if you're gonna roll a specific servant, you could wait. For the Berserker class, we have a lot of heavy hitters on this, and till now, even in JP, this man hasn't had a banner that has been rerun. So if you're targeting God Juna, the GSSR practically is the only way of being able to get him, really. And then you have Musashi, who is an excellent arts looper, though she does have a rerun during the summer rerun. Raiko and Kintoki have banners towards the later half of the year. I believe Hijikata also has a rate up during the Gura Gura event. But still, this is a really solid banner if you are trying to get these two specifically. But still, I mean, a lot of people will definitely roll on this banner just because of Arjuna Altar. Now, for I mean, I've already mentioned, but like for new players, really, you'd probably best focus on the class caster banner. But if you do have like a Merlin or maybe or if you plan to roll for a caster Artoria next year, the Berserker class is also a solid one because of their longevity in gameplay. So there's that. Now we get to the first of the extra class banners. So this is the Ruler and Avenger banner. Qinshi Huang, Jolter, Sherlock, Bunny Artoria, Space Ishtar, Edmond Dantes, Amakasa Shiro, and Mao Nobu, or Demon King Nobunaga. So the servants that have reruns this year are Mao Nobu during Gura Gura, Amakasa Shiro during the Apocrypha event, and then Bunny Artoria during Summer rerun. So yeah, the only ones that don't have reruns is Sherlock, Dantes, and Space Ishtar, because Space Ishtar is next year in Saber Wars 2 rerun. Okay, so most of them have reruns, but I mean, you still see some very solid units. Jolter does get a buff, which increases her NP damage output, and she still crits very hard. Bunny Artoria gets a buff where it gives a gimmick to her second skill, which is the card shuffle skill, which will, when you target a servant with that skill, it'll remove that servant's cards. So in other words, if you're looking for specific cards for a specific servant that you need on that turn, having that card, having that card shuffle skill for Bunny Artoria is really good. Then of course, Space Ishtar will pretty much show what she can really do with the help of Caster Artoria this year. So she is a solid option to summon for. Dantes, if you have Scotty, Dantes is a solid option for quick looping. Amakusa Shiro and Mao Nobu do get buffs, so they're also options that you could consider. Mao Nobu, especially once she gets her buff after Koyanskaya releases makes her a really solid Buster Looper. And then most of them will have a rerun this year, but still, they're very solid units to have. Although, you know, if I were to choose between the first extra banner and the second extra banner, I don't know. I feel like I would go more with the second extra banner. So we have Alter Ego, Moon Cancer, and Foreigner class. We have a lot of really solid units here. So we have Melt, Kiara, Okita Alter, Hokusai, Abby, King Protea, and Summer BB. Summer BB being the only Moon Cancer here. Sure. And then we have 4 Alter Egos. Melt, who is a single target quick. Kiara, who is AoE, so she will be your go-to arts looper. Okita Alter... I mean, you could say she kind of does Buster looping, but the thing is, it's her cooldown and her damage output, so we'll put that aside for now. And then you have King Protea. And then for the foreigners, you have Hokusai and Abby. Hokusai is AoE, Abby's single target. I like all of them, really, on this banner. And it's a waifu banner. All females. So that is another point towards this banner. But yeah, if I had to pick between this extra banner and this extra banner, I would go with the second extra banner. Just because it's all waifus. Melt and Kiara get buffs, right? Okita also gets a buff. Hokusai gets a buff. King Protea gets a buff. So practically almost everybody on this banner gets a buff next year. So yeah, in summary, like the characters that I feel like would help a new player's account better would be Kiara, pretty much. I mean, you could also go for Okita and Hokusai. Probably Melt for single target. But Kiara, especially if you're going to be rolling for Caster Artoria, Kiara would probably be a good go-to, especially for new players. Hokusai, the problem with Hokusai with Caster Artoria looping is her lower NP gain. I mean, it can be done, but I believe you need to bring Tamamo with your team comp when looping. Unless, of course, you have high enough NP levels, then Hokusai will not have that much problem, really. So, in summary, that's pretty much my view on each of the banners. If you were to ask for my recommendation for newer players, I would always recommend the caster banner because support cast, especially if you do not have these support casters, they are very essential, or not essential, but they help you in so many ways, in so many types of gameplay. For newer players, my top recommendation would be really the caster class summon. Reason being is because of the support casters, Merlin and Scotty, for a newer player. Other banners that are really good are the Archer banner, because it has a really good lineup. If you're looking for, you know, waifu banners, you have the Extra 2 banner and Lancer banner, because it's all females on those banners. Saber class banner is pretty much probably the most diverse banner set that you can get, because it has support Saber, it has support characters, it has characters that do AoE damage, and it has characters that are, well, most of it is single target, but like if you're not sure what to get, you know, there's the Saber banner. And then the only reason why I would roll for the Berserker banner would be to try to get Arjuna Alter. Right now, for me personally, the weakest would really be the at least, I don't know, this is just my personal opinion, but the weakest banners would pretty much be the Assassin banner and the Rider banner. And of course, you know, my recommendation is the Caster banner. So yeah. I don't know how much this will help, but I always have 3 rules when going through a GSSR. So 1, roll for servants you want. That's my first rule. Always roll for servants you want. 2. But then again, you know, there's always the rule for roll for servants you don't have. I'm always of the mindset where I would prefer to always get a servant that I do not have yet whenever I roll for my GSSR. And then my third rule is take note of servants you don't want. There you go. Those are my 3 rules whenever I try to pick for servants, or the GSSR basically. So roll for servants you want. So take note of how many each banner has a servant that you want. And then take note of how many servants you don't have for each banner. And then take note of how many servants in each banner you don't want. So yeah. That is what I do whenever I try to take into consideration which GSSR banner I will be rolling for. So yeah. If you want to see a sample of this process, you can go to my YouTube channel. I do have a GSSR video I uploaded earlier this month, and it's pretty much me going through the process of determining which banner I would roll for on the GSSR. But the thing is, I have 2 banners where I want to roll on, but I can't really make a decision. So you can leave a comment on that video to basically choose for me which banner to roll on. But yeah, those are my 3 rules basically when choosing a GSSR banner to roll for. Again, take note, it takes 15 paid Saint Quartz to be able to roll on this GSSR. You can only choose 1 banner. That's why you have to carefully consider which banner you will be rolling on. And again, for newer players, I would recommend the caster class banner. If you want waifu banners, you go for the Lancer and the Extra 2 banner. And then if you're looking for Arjuna Altar, the Berserker banner is a solid choice. But yeah, that's pretty much my general guide for the GSSR. I would wish you luck in case I don't see you guys. So I will be streaming this my GSSR summons. So, you know, if you guys would like to see them, post updates on, you know, my schedule on the Discord.